How's it going, guys, and welcome to my second video in this 4-part series covering the official Duel Links subreddit tournament number 2 path to become a champion. Here we are. We've entered the top 8 cut of the tournament now. We made it through the Swiss style, and here we go. Now in the opening round, this is going to be a double elimination top 8 final playoffs. We open up against Sir Termund. Now, these games actually went pretty quick. I was lucky in the sense it was a mirror matchup. It was my on my. Both had the Harpies Hunting Grounds up. I was assuming he was running Relinquished. I didn't get far enough into the deck to figure it out. He might not have been, actually. He did have Harpy Lady 1. So he was running a wind-heavy deck. He might have just been getting Harpy Lady 1 out and just dominating the field. But both games I opened up with Heart of the Underdog and a Harpy Lady in my hand and simply played Heart of the Underdog, destroyed both Harpies Hunting Grounds. I was having none of it. And then my deck at that point is just going to outperform his. Both games went fairly quickly. Final one ending right here. I'd managed Heart of the Underdog. The card draws up. And he just surrenders here. He didn't really have anything to answer. Once I get rid of the field spells and get past his Harpy Lady 1, his monsters just aren't going to stand up to the 1800 and 1750 beaters I got in Dunames and Jerry Beans, man. Now in the second round of the top 8 cut, I was up against, it was actually my first matchup against the Power That Be. Now he was running an extremely good Venus Shine Ball deck. He drew excellently both games, powering through a full Elephant Gift combo. The first game, to be honest, I just wasn't able to keep up with his tempo. He managed to beat me down the first game, but in the second game, I got Heart of the Underdog out. It was really popping off, and I actually had him on the ropes, but man, was this ever a close game too. Here we are on turn 11, 550 LP versus 600 LP, and I am honestly supposed to win this turn right here, but I made my biggest misplay of the entire tournament. Here we are. I had just Windstorm of Talkwood to make room for my Order to Charge, and I summoned my Dunames Dark Witch before activating Order to Charge, and just watch the absolute wreck of the result of this. I go to pull the Order to Charge here. I'm pretty sure the chat's just like screaming at me too. They're like, Mask, what are you doing, dude? No. I pop off Order to Charge, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen this combo. The famous counter, if 2 people have Order to Charge, or 2 people have enemy controller, or vice versa, one of each, whoever goes first loses, especially if you have 2 monsters on the field. I think I'm realizing it right now. Man, I messed this up. Please no. Please no. Here comes the enemy controller. Devastating. Nope. Order to Charge. Whatever. Same thing. Back to back. I know I just completely messed up here. He sacrifices his own monster. It ends up being a 2 for 2, a straight board clear, and then, like clockwork, I had just gotten rid of the Windstorm that actually could have protected me from losing the next turn, leaving me completely defenseless. He just summons in a monster, and it's game over. So the Power That Be knocked me into the loser's bracket, round 2. Now my third round in the elimination... Now my third round in the top 8 cut tournament came up against Hatona, and I definitely gotta say I was excited to see that I was going up against another Rex Raptor. Mind you, the first game, he opened up with a D-spell on my Harpies Hunting Ground right away. I did not have a Twister, so I was worried about having to go toe-to-toe with those 1900 dinos, but unfortunately I kinda got lucky and Hatona drew just about the worst hand you can draw on a Rex deck I have ever seen. He opened up with Order to Charge, Metal Morph, and D-Spell going first. He D-Spells my Harpies Hunting Ground. I'm playing monsters on the board. I get a hit in first turn. Second turn, he managed to top deck a Yomi ship. Not really going to help him out much. I still get a free hit with a second monster. Third turn, he manages to top deck a Hane, which was only going to stall for him for one more turn. Literally, all he needed was a 1900 dino on any of those pulls, and it would have prevented me from hitting him in the face. But I was smart enough to Order to Charge that Hane out and hit it home. I took the first game. The second game went a little different. I managed to open up with 2 Harpy Ladies in my hand, His field spell did not stand a chance, and you guys all know what happens if you're playing a vanilla beatdown deck versus Rex, who doesn't have his field spell. You're just literally just a better version of his deck at that point. The only thing really worth mentioning about the last match was he did manage to put a tornado down on the field that stalled me from ending it. I thought it was a mirror wall. It prevented me from attacking into it. But then I just top decked another Order to Charge, wiped the field out, and hit this one home. So we took the series against Hatona 2-0, and we were moving on. Now in the 4th round of the top 8 cut, I'm up against Super Stuff. Now this was one of the games I was the most anxious for. Super Stuff went flawless in the Swiss-style half of this tournament with a top-tier, double relinquished, switcheroo Bandit Keith deck. Things were going back and forth. He does get relinquished out. I don't have a counter on the board for him. It's turn 7. I thought I had managed to save things. I got 3 OTCs, 1 down on the field. I got a normal monster ready. I shouldn't even be scared of this relinquished anymore, but I made my second biggest misplay of the tournament here. Bandit Keith's gonna set himself up. He places down a spell card and pulls off a beautiful storm. And lo and behold, of course, that ends up being a wild tornado down here and right here. I look back from the chat. The one downfall to streaming sometimes, your chat distracts you, and I skipped the activation of my Order to Charge. Otherwise, at this moment right here, I could have cleared his relinquished. Actually, to be honest, at this point right here, I would have just cleared his Sonic Bird and been laughing, sitting there with relinquish nothing to suck up. Well, it's give or take. I'm not sure which one of those I would have chose, because you're also potentially attacking into a Sphere Karibo, allowing his relinquish to take your monster back. That would have been a different story. Regardless, huge misplay here, but thank you, Jerry Beans comes to the rescue. The second big time my secret hidden ability, Heart of the Cards, came through for me in this tournament. And here we go. We're lucky he doesn't have a Jerry Bean. He doesn't have a Sphere Karibo in his hand, sorry. And at this point here, we got 2 Order to Charges left. I'm drawn into monsters. He can't really hit over top of me. And if top decking the Jerry Beans wasn't enough, right after the Jerry Beans, we managed to top deck a Skull Lair. We play that Skull Lair, see it relinquished. It just absolutely destroys him. And we take game 1 versus Super Stuff. Now in game 2 versus Super Stuff, I was blessed with an opening hand Skull Lair, but I know that he's running Storm Wild Tornado combo, so I just don't want to set it right away. I hold on to it pretty well perfectly. He only had 4 cards in his hand. I felt a little safer. I put it down about turn 9. Lo and behold, turn 10, Super Stuff plops down a relinquished. Best feeling ever. Boom. Relinquish is gone. Skull Lair doing its work. But this game was not over. Go. He manages to pull a Senju around turn 8. After storming a storm to clear the Skull Lair off the board, he gets out his second relinquished in the deck. He's going to take my Danae's Dark Witch here and just take game 2. Here we go. Relinquish is going to come down on the board. I have nothing. There's nothing to block it. He's going to hit me for, he's got about 3,200 hit me in the face with. I had a Twister to take the relinquished off, but at this point, my Twister brought me 50 damage too low. I was 50 life points away from potentially top decking a fat monster and being able to win game 2. So here we go, game 3 versus Super Stuff. Everything's on the line. Now, after managing to get my hands on Skull Lair for the first 2 games in a row, I could not believe the back-to-back games. In game 3, I start the game off with Skull Lair in my hand again. Same story though, we're terrified of that storm, clearing that Skull Lair off the back end before we're able to actually counter relinquish with it. I held on to it all the way to turn 8, and just out of instinct, turn 8, same thing happens, I just go, it's time. We throw down the Skull Lair. Lo and behold, turn 9, ready to turn the tides. Bandit Keith throws down the relinquished. I'm just basically doing a celebration at this point. Relinquish is going to plop down on the field, and we're not even going to let him take a breath. Skull Lair is going to pop. We're going to kill relinquished here. That leaves us open. I don't even think he has another monster to play here. I'm pretty sure we just clear the field out. Next turn I draw into another monster, and it's just bam bam. we win it in the next turn. We'll have to see here. Does he up? He ends his turn, and that's it. We're going to top deck Jerry Beans Man, flip our Harpy face up, and that was the game. We take round 4 against Super Stuff, the undefeated champion of the Swiss-style half of this tournament. Whew. Moving on. Now, before I take us into round 5, which is going to be my rematch versus the Power That Be, who beat us earlier with that Venus Shine Ball OTC deck, I had to come in, and this is the first time I teched in some cards to make an alteration of my deck. Basically, if you take a look at a Venus deck, none of the cards are heavy hitters. So I honestly had no reason to run Mirror Wall or I had no reason to run Mirror Wall or Metal Morph. None of my monsters are ever going to be in a position where I needed to hit harder or be hit less hard. So I take those 2 cards out, and I make in the best decision ever. I throw 2 Michizuris into this deck. Now, if you have either of these 2 cards on the board, if he's ever going to pull off an Order to Charge on into your monsters with a Shine Ball, you're just going to Michizuri the Venus out of the middle in response. And let's check out just how well this performed. Now, game 1 on the rematch with the Power That Be. This is the semifinals. Winner is moving on to play Tub Pup in the finals. We're checking out here. We got Michizur, that tech in, paying off, of course. His Venus is going to kill my Harpy Lady. We're just going to Michizur that Venus out of there. We don't want to deal with you. This is perfect. He's going to end his turn. At this point, we're just going to top deck a Harpy Lady, clear the field. There goes game 1. And honestly, the matchup against this Mystical Shine Ball deck, it's never one that there was a big gap. You got to remember, I lost in game 2 against the Power That Be. In the second round of this top 8 cut, I actually it was a huge misplay on my part that opened it up, preventing us from going to game 3. I could have potentially won that series if I didn't misplay. Game 2, nothing big really happened. I never even drew into a Michizur, but that being said, game 2 was just a classic. This deck overpowered that one. He was never able to steal the tempo from me. At the end here, he only had an Order to Charge to answer to one of my 3 monsters on the board, and we managed to take this series 2-0. Moving on to the finals versus Tub Pup. But overall, I definitely say subbing in the Michizur for the Metal Morph and a Mirror Wall was a beautiful call. We knew we were not going to need that extra power for any kind of swings versus Venus and the Mystical Shine Balls. They're just not that heavy hitting monsters. And there you have it, guys. That is going to conclude my journey to get to the finals, where I'm going to have to go up against one of my own stream moderators, Tub Pup himself, and his crazy Gravekeepers deck that absolutely slaughtered everybody in the top 8. Now, one thing I can say is, hey, we managed to pull 2 of the most prevalent members on our stream in this tournament to the finals. I think that says one thing about coming and hanging out. So of course, I gotta throw it out there, guys. Come hang out on the stream. We're live pretty much Monday through Friday, most Saturdays, 6 to 8 hours in the middle of the day. You check out the Facebook group, the Twitter group. I'm going to always give you the times on exactly when we're live. You check out the stream title. That's where I typically post when our next stream's going live. But, like always, smash that subscribe button. There's going to be lots more videos to come. And I am going to post the entire best of 3, both of the best of 3s. That's coming up next.